I want to talk about fear. And can you explain the concept?
Okay. That is when someone is hard, PAE, not prejudicially. When someone brings his case, one thing you have seen as lawyers is that when you're having the clients will never tell us where is wrong, never tell us the benefits he has gotten on the issue. Only just tell us how the other party is bad. And as a result, a lawyer should carry deep up on his head. Hearing is crisp and simple. That is when someone is hard, yell. That is, there is a side and there's also another side. Then the third side now decide how the two sides actually be resolved, or what does the law provide about such an incident or such a fact. That is what is called fair hearing. So basically, Section 36 of the 9 Constitution says, in the determination of civil rights and obligation, including any question or determination by or against any government or body, the person shall be entitled to secure hearing within a reasonable time by a court or tribunal established by law must ensure such manner to secure its independence and impartiality. That position of law is simple. In your civil rights, contracts, courts, um, constitutional rights, human rights, anything that has to link you human being. If you have a complaint, a query, you are free to approach the court or tribunal or any institution as given by law to hear your view, to hear your query. And the person involved or the other side is also to respond appropriately. And such a procedure should be within a reasonable time before the court. And actually that tribunal or that court should be impartial. That's what the law says.
So how then do you? I mean, can you speak to us a bit about the concept of say being innocent or to being when somebody is accused in our society, it basically just proves that that person has committed the crime.
It's simple. The criminal proceedings are governed by this Section 36. This is where you know your rights if a defendant in a criminal trial. There are also other things, such as right to counsel, right to discernment. The law sees a defendant in a criminal matter as what? As innocent. And it's not far-fetched. So that an innocent man would not be pronounced upon as guilty. There was a legal aphorism that says it's better for 99 guilt speaker to walk away free than for one innocent person to be what? Convicted of being guilty. Meaning that the guilty wants to actually get pardon. But once an innocent person is now suffering, then that is actually very, very, very bad. So Section 56, right? Every person who is charged with a criminal offense shall be presumed innocent until proven guilty. I will prove them guilty. It is the prosecution. The standard of proof that is beyond reasonable doubt. The police, all people from Ministry of Justice, who prosecute criminal matter, they are the ones who put all their facts and witnesses together what's it called to show that this person that is the defendant has actually committed the offense. While the person also of fair trial focuses that we are talking about will also be asked now one to give his evidence from the door or from the witness box. Into we bring out his defense to say, oh, this thing that they said they happened, I was not the one. I was not even there. I was just only walking around that place. And you'll be able to put the facts together, then place it before the court. Then the facts, being impartial, will justly determine you should not be convicted or tried for the same offense twice. Let me just put this into the hair. There was a picture that was going all around that talks about was it a man or a woman? I think it was a woman who called the husband cheating, and as a result of that, he shot at the man or so, and the man died, and she was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Also, and after she came out from jail, some months later, she saw that the husband was alive with another woman, and started to now commit the little offense. And they're like, can she be convicted twice on the same? I'm going to look the question to your conscience. As lawyers, we deal with facts. And as a result of that, if I'm breached, I think I know what I would do. But what the law this is true. Or through point convict, you cannot be tried for the same offense. And when you are talking about offenses, talk about the time, talk about the dates and the place where it happened. If you apply that to what I just said, I'm sure the place is different. I'm sure the time is different. And I'm sure that the date of death is also different.
But the respect of the same,
But it's the respect of the same person.
and the person cannot be taken to have died twice.
A person cannot be taken to have died twice. I agree with you. However, we need to know some peculiarities and whether there are some peculiarities with the person that had died and the person that was alive. Who knows whether the husband was wearing a name now? Who knows whether the husband was wearing a new name now? Maybe very Thomas before. Now is not bearing Tuchel. I said she killed Thomas and she killed Tuchel. That's what the law will say. But actually, if she has a very good lawyer, there's still a way to go about it because there will be some legal refundite issues to be raised that the court has to pronounce upon, so that there won't be the trouble of double jeopardy.
Quite interesting. Thank you very much. So, can we even talk a bit about another fundamental human right? I want us to talk about the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion.
Right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion is fundamental. Is very, very and highly fundamental. If you believe that you should not use your hand to eat amala, that what to be using to eat amala is spoon, you just thought that no, I'm going to be using fork to eat amala. You should not be prejudiced by that. You should not be discriminated by that. It came from your boss. And that probability, although to some ladies, we are actually desecrating their most beloved food. But I don't think anyone has been arrested for that. Sir, that's a very used thought. You decide that, see, I'm not willing to worshiping anything or do any religion. That's actually fine. And actually, with conscience, everybody is conscionable. Anything that commits an offense or impugn or impede common sense or is output common sense is not conscionable. It's not in good conscience. It's not in great conscience.
So, how then you have issues of, for example, religious persecution? You have people who are persecuted just because whether the person is a Muslim, because he's a Christian, or the person is.
Religious topic in Nigeria is a topic one should tread carefully. There are so many correctors, there are so many leaders, and there are so many aggressive followers. Yes. Your first one is that how can we address the issue of religious persecution as a society? In as much as the society is not made up of one religion, it's made up of different religions, then I think tolerance is the way out. Tolerance is the way out. And radicalism, extremism should not be allowed amongst people. Radicalism, extremism should never be allowed among people as a society. And as a society, if extremism and radicalism and fundamentalism can be reduced, I think tolerance will actually be better. People are ready to tolerate each other. Where there is chaos, there won't be even development. And when there is no even development, then I tell you the truth, the people will be living primitively. Citizens will be living primitively. And because of the lack of security and development. Thank you.
Thank you so much. How often heard people say, "Oh, the easiest term I can say whatever I want, do whatever I want. I have the right to my opinions. I have the freedom to express myself." Well, I want to talk about the freedom of the expression. It's right. How true is this case very?
If you notice from all the rights you have been saying, there's actually no absolute right. Every right is regulated or has a restriction, let me put it, or a limitation. Like I said, the right to life. If a person is alive, that does not give him the right to take the life of another person. And when he does that, he will be charged to court for murder, and his own life would also be taken. Because that will be capital punishment. If you think I have the right to do anything I like, fine. But anything you do must be within the confines of the law. So if we talk about expressing yourself, expressing your view, like a lot of people has been doing, and you come out cursing the president, you come out cursing the nation, you come out to curse people all the time, you can actually be clamped down and arrested. They will say you have the right. Yes, but the right is actually limited. Although for the freedom of expression, there's actually no law in the first that are aware that limits us. That this is where you sit exactly. However, from expressing our views, someone can be charged with offenses such as breach of peace. Someone can be arrested for criminal defamation. Someone can be arrested for inciting other people, inciting to cause the breach of peace, to name others. So I've said that so that you can really um get that even the right to freedom of expression still has some little bit of filth. You have heard of so many people that have been arrested for just hearing their mind. Like the popular saying of as in it's not Mugabe. They said, in as much as you have the right to express your mind, after you express it, if you don't tell me that you have the right also for me not to do what I'm meant to do against that expression. No, that's wrong. That's why it's always good to be self-disciplined. So yes, those that say, in fact, I told a friend that the way to measure someone that is serious as someone that is unserious is if someone is saying, it is my life, I can do it anyhow, that person is actually not serious. Let me say the content of whatever you see is what determines whether you have gone against the law or not. The Bible, sorry, I'm bringing the Bible in. So we are justified by our words, and we're also condemned by our words. So don't say that you have said something and police want to verify what you have said. And like, no, I'm just expressing my own right. That's not the way it works. Once your words are transgressed against settled principles of law and order in a society, even with your rights, they can be what? Arrested. Yes. A person who has stolen from a shop after stealing, doesn't he have the right to movement? Freedom of movement, and then start running. So if they want to catch him, why can't he tell them that I'm exercising my right of freedom of movement with a stolen property? That's not done. So if you have expressed yourself, the content of whatever you're saying, either you will sing or swim with it. He wished the president's death and he spoke it out, and the person was arrested by officers of the DSS government some years back. And also that he said is that, what about we didn't see it? Would he have been arrested? What about he just said something that is just disagreed with the current government and not wish you them that anyway and stuff like that. Because before you know it, the person spent a lot of time in jail needlessly. And I'm sure he must have been tortured. Plus, I've done with a lot of in mixed respects. So, for those of us that say Italy can say anything, his mind your language. Because once Bible says again that half of many in many words there's what there's sin, and the tongue is like fire, it can set things ablaze. There's no word that have been fought that never started from the phone.
Whatever. Can you distill between the right to press and the person's right to privacy?
What I was thinking we're going to say the right to press and freedom of expression. The right to freedom of expression is basically you expressing your view, your thoughts, your belief system. And all those views, your thoughts, can actually be reduced to right. That is where you have a press. So when most of the things you have said are not uh are not against the law, it can actually be reduced to a print. You get it? That's one. The second one is rights to privacy and the press. Anything that is in the press is in the public. While right to privacy of human person is simple. You should be able to have a time where you feel it, a time to what's it called? To just be yourself. Privacy, yes, privacy corroborates and also amplify the rights to dignity of human person. You get it? Because on a normal day, You should be able to make some decision by yourself. You should be able to think on yourself. It also amplifies the right to thoughts, freedom of thought and conscience. Because that is what privacy is all about. I believe I don't want to just be this way. I just want to be on my own and things like that. So that's just it. So there's really no much thing to be said about that. The difference is clear.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to talk about another right, which is freedom of movement.
The freedom of movement is actually an inherent right. You are not, God has not meant for that to be in just one place all throughout the day and all throughout the nights and all throughout our lives that we're not really, we are meant to move around for trade, move around for business, move around for the purpose of knowledge, move around to also create impact, and move around to also be impacted. In the fulfillment of a man's journey, right, there is a need for what? Movement. You have seen people who have left to where they actually hailed from and became super successful. Like we are told, the current president of United States, I think it was his forefathers, his fathers that came. It was even his dad that actually came into United States, not knowing that he's going to be birthing or he was bringing in a person that's going to become the next president of the United States. That's the movement. So, and no, so you can't restrict humans from moving around. Like I said, no right is absolute. The restriction and the limitation on the right to movement is when someone is in the correctional center or the penitentiary, that is the prisons. That's someone in prison that said he's traveling to America. He's not Costco. You are being watched up. So that's the limitation to the right to freedom of movement. So basically, as an international right also, like every other right is Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution, we can actually move from country to country, provided you have the necessary documents of travel, necessary permits. So it's not as if you go to someone's country and you now start living there without necessary permits. Will become an illegal immigrant. I'll say, okay, Universal Declaration of Rights of 1948 says you have the right of no. As wonderful as those laws are, they are enforced and they are obeyed domestically. Yes, they are enforced and obeyed domestically. So someone who has no subsistent living, where he's coming from, has no means of living, now decides to enter a nation where he has no sibling, where he has no family member. There's no how. It is not discrimination. It's because it's us and not complete. That's why they were asking for proof of funds. That's why they were asking your bank as stand statement, bring the letter from your employer in order to show that this person coming from this nation is actually a good citizen. In some cases, tax clearances. So as this person is a good citizen and is going to our country, one for business, one for visitation. And when the EU cap all these documents, he has been a responsible citizen. Responsible citizens are the ones that enjoy the benefit of traveling from one place to another.
This would be like almost like a comedic aesthetic. I wanted to ask that, can you, in expressing your freedom of movement, can you just walk into the barracks, walk into anywhere that you have the freedom, you said you have the freedom to move and to learn.
Okay, yeah. I'm moving to the barracks now. Can actually, at least, there are civilians in the barracks. Yes, you can actually barracks for business. So only thing is that you can't move to the governor's bedroom. You can move to the governor's house. Once you are there, they will ask you, why have you come? Can't say, it's because I have the right. He must have the reason why you are coming now. So when we know you can't actually offer the reasons for coming there. That's when they can like, you look like a suspect. Or they now found you're going to defile the bonds or stuff like that. They say he's a criminal. He's a suspect, he's a defender. But actually, you can actually approach anywhere, move anywhere.